If I had a rat and I put it in a tank of water with a little invisible platform somewhere in the tank, I could predict one of two outcomes. Either the rat will drown since it's impossible for the rat to swim infinitely, or the rat will find the platform. If I take this rat and continually drop him in the tank with the same platform once a day every day, I could make further predictions. For example, I might be able to roughly predict the length of time it would take for the rat to reach the platform, and whether this little rat drowns or lives, I'm responsible. There were only one of two outcomes, and I knew this before I dropped the rat in the tank. Now, one day, 4,000 or 6,000 years ago, Adam and Eve were dropped in a garden with a tree of good and evil and a talking snake. They were, of course, told not to eat from whatever fruit came from this tree, otherwise they would die. Now, God, naturally, is omniscient. This guy knows every detail about everything well in advance of any action. If this talking snake is going to appear and talk Eve into eating the forbidden fruit, he knows this stuff in advance. He knows every detail of the interaction at all times. In fact, well before he creates Earth, he knows that if he places Adam and Eve in the garden with a talking snake and gives them free will and tells them not to eat the forbidden fruit, that they will in fact eat it. And God would naturally be responsible for any outcome because he set up all the factors and knows absolutely everything. And his omniscience doesn't stop there in the garden with Adam and Eve. God knows before he creates the earth that 4,000 or 6,000 years later, Hitler will come along and start wiping out Jews. Now, even though God claims that humans have free will, he knows exactly what choices they will make. Therefore, by creating Adam and Eve and the garden with the talking snake and the tree with the forbidden fruit, God created Hitler, anti-Semitism, and concentration camps. Even if he had no interaction whatsoever with Earth after creation, he already knew the outcome. He knew the entire story before it happened, and by creating the Earth, he set everything in motion that would create all sorts of nasty things he knew of beforehand. If I dropped a rat in a water tank with no platform at all, I can predict with 100% certainty that barring outside influence, the rat will die. Now, I'm not omniscient, but if I were, I would already know exactly how long it would take for the rat to die and every detail of every passing thought and motion of said rat. I'd even know every detail of the voyage of this rat's body after death. Of course, I'm not sadistic, and I don't really see the fun in drowning rats, but apparently God does. It's the problem of omniscience. If God is omniscient, and the Bible is the flawless word, then he's responsible for the creation of evil, and therefore he cannot be all good. And if God has a plan, it must have something to do with being an insufferable prick and torturing helpless created beings for fun.